hello, good evening, virtual assistant for Amazon sellers and also Amazon seller for virtual assistant. Hello to all of you. Good evening. Hi. Yes. So I have one question for you tonight. Ayan. So pag-usapan natin how much should you charge your client? All right? We are going to talk about your freelancing job tonight and your rate. So, if you can hear me live before I start, can I see hashtag live in the comments section so that I know that you can hear me, everything is good. So, kumusta kayo? Yan. So, hello, Kalachan, May, Kathleen, yes, Lisa, Jamie, Ran. Okay, so good evening to all of you. All right. So tonight we are going to talk about how much should you charge your client. Okay, this is a very very exciting topic, okay? So are you wondering how to achieve your desired monthly income? Right? You always ask that question. I always ask that question because before lalo-lalo na gustong-gusto ko talaga na ma-achieve yung desired rate ko, and I really want to know how. Okay? So, yes, welcome to our webinar tonight entitled Virtual Assistant Rate and more. So, we're going to talk about a lot more tonight. So, for those of you who don't know me, I am Lesha Kino. I am the CEO and founder of Amazon Nation. We help aspiring Filipino freelancers to be an Amazon seller VA. So, good evening to all of you. Now, why is it important to know your worth? Yeah. Why is it important to know not only your worth but also your rate? Okay? And what's ano yung relevance ng worth mo sa rate mo? Okay, so importanteng malaman to because for most of you, nagsisimula pa lang ng freelancing and hindi nila alam kung magkano ba i-charge nila sa client. And some of you naman, matagal ng freelancers, you're working for several years already with probably the same client, and you want to increase your rate, but you don't know how. So this is the best time that we're gonna talk about this, okay? So let me start by saying your rate depends on ano ba yung mga considerations natin about your rate. Okay, first of all, we are going to discuss your experience, okay? Because your rate will highly depend on your experience. Ano ba yung naging specialty mo before you land on you're aiming for a job, 'di ba? Ano yung mga how many years ka na nagtrabaho? Ano yung kumbaga ano yung mga lessons, ano yung mga courses, ano yung probably yung anong course ka graduate nung college if it's relevant, no? So yun yung experience na tinatawag. Your rate will also depend on the type of service na gusto mo. So of course, the more the typical the service, like for example, syempre pag sinabi mong general VA, that's also a type of service, medyo yung rate mo mas mababa kasi general. Pero pag nag-niche down ka or tinatawag natin yung service mo mas hindi kumbaga hindi typical in the market, mas tumataas yung rate mo. Also, your rate will depend on the country where you are in. Yeah? So, it really depends. Of course, sa US, mas mataas yung rate. Sa Asia, mas mababa yung rate. Okay? But of course, it doesn't necessarily follow that we can cope up or hindi tayo pwedeng makasabay doon sa rate ng ibang bansa. Right? Your rate will also depend on the deadline. Gaano ba kabilis ito? Kasi kung halimbawang mas malapit yung deadline, mas mataas yung rate. Alright? Your rate will also depend on the hassle factor. Gaano ba ka-hassle to? Because not all freelancers naman really work at home. Some of them need extra mile. Like they need to interview someone, they need to travel, diba? They need to go on a certain place. And of course, there's an additional hassle factor for that. Okay? Ayan. So ano-ano nga ba yung mga regular virtual assistant hourly rate na tinatawag? Okay, let me start on by saying that the general VA can start to earn $3 to $6. That's the usual, right? Specialists, mga $10 to $30, and the managers, $15 to $100. But of course, don't take it from me, okay? I am just saying this based on my experience in 10 years of freelancing. Pero titingnan natin yung ibang rate based on the popular and reputable sites where I research also. So, ano-ano nga ba yung mga rate na yun, Miss Lish, no? By the way, if you can see the screen and medyo maliit siya, you can probably check on this on a desktop. Baka mas malaki, mas ma-appreciate nyo yung numbers. Right? So, this is from smallrevolution.com. Dito, binibigay dito yung Southeast Asia VA pay rates. And usually, same lang naman ang beginner. It's still $5 to $12. There's intermediate. It's $20 to $30. And of course, pag expert ka na, $35 to $45 ang rate mo. Yun yung general VA. Pero once you put in different skills to the service, pansin nyo, mas tumataas yung rate, right? So let's see. Here also, you can find average rates of general VAs. Ayan. So anyway, you can review this video. You can pause it and check on the hourly rates, average rate, and yearly rates dito sa site na to. Okay. Another one from virtualstaff.ph. Yan, makikita din natin dyan. They commented on how much they should pay for a Filipino VA. At ang sinasabi nila dito, entry-level VA's salary is usually between $350 to $450 full-time. Or kung may experience and specialist na siya, it can be $450 to $650. Let me know in the comment section if you agree to this or not. Is it higher? Is it high or low? Let me know. So this is, of course, according to virtualstaff.ph, all right? So what else? In virtualassistantinternship.com, I found this regular rate naman. So sinasabi naman nila that the average hourly rates of VA, low end will be $10 to $15 per hour. That's, of course, in US. Mid-level, $20 to $35, and high-end, $40. So kung mapapansin nyo, if you notice, there's almost a similarity, right? There's an average. At least you know, on top of your mind, that this is the low-end, the mid-end, and the high-end. What else? Of course, in payscale.com, we can see here that there's an average virtual assistant hourly pay in the Philippines of 195 pesos per hour, right? An average hourly rate. So that is the average VA pay based on payscale.com. What do you think, guys? Is it good or not? Let me know in the comment section if you can see this as a good hourly pay or not. Okay? So you also know another tip is before you start another job or you want to also niche down, you can go to job sites, different job sites like onlinejobs.ph, virtualstafffinder.com, Upwork is one, free up, no, napakadami pang ibang freelance job out there. And the good thing about it is that you can see the average or actually also the potential rate that you can ask for your clients. No? So kung halimbawang alam nila, kumbaga kung if you think that there's someone out there who can do it, if someone out there can really give that rate, then you can also do it. You can also charge that rate. How to do that is another question. So we're going to do that, all right? Yeah. So hindi lang naman din monthly hourly rate ang pinag-uusapan natin dito when it comes to freelance rate. We are also talking about monthly rate, no? So Miss Lish, ano ba yung mas maganda? I guess for me, I would say that it's better for you to charge on a monthly rate than an hourly rate. If you ask why, so my answer is that I always believe in the outcome or the output, not the hourly charge to your client. Of course, the more experience that you have, the faster you work. So the faster that you will finish the job, no? So sometimes you can, well, most of my student or ako kahit na experience ko din that an 8-hour job can be done in 2 hours, sometimes in 4 hours, right? And your client will be happy to pay you for a full-time rate if the job is done and it's done exceedingly, kumbaga. Yeah. So that's the monthly rate. All right. So you can also charge based on your project-based rate. Hindi siya monthly at hindi rin siya per hour. It's a project-based. Usually, ang mga gumagawa nito, the website, the web designers, yan. Also, you can charge based on the task rate. For example, isang article lang. You can do one article a day or one listing. If you're an Amazon VA, you can do one listing. You can charge based on that task only. Right? So, pwede rin na ganun yung rate mo. Also, this is not common, but some of the experts always do this. No? Yung per package or bundle services. What is this, Miss Lish? So, per package is, iniiba-iba nila yung kanilang, kumbaga, services, right? They separate the services and put it into bundle, right? They charge per services, and then when they bundle it, they pack it as if that there's a discount, a big discount, right? Yeah. So that is how you also charge your client. So monthly rate, per hour rate, project-based rate, task rate, and per package rate or bundle services. If you have, all right, if you have other rates, no, that you can also, if you have other ways on how you can get rates, share us below, no, in this video. Okay, so let's go on to the factors to consider when I charge my client. Ano ba yung kailangan ko i-consider? If, for example, Ms. Lish, I am newbie, what are the factors that I need to think about before I ask for the rate? Or before I tell them my rate? Or if you're someone who wants to get a higher rate, ano ba yung mga kailangan kong i-consider, okay? First one is expenses, and I will get down into details later for this one. Expenses, most often than not, these are the factors that you need to consider. Like for example, ano yung talagang actual na ginagastos mo monthly, no? If sulat mo siya, you write it down and in a paper, and then at the end of the day, makikita mo doon your expenses and you consider it. Okay? Okay. Later, I will go down to the nitty details. Number 2 factor is experience. Ayan, ano-ano na ba yung mga skills na na-develop mo? Ilang courses na ba yung natapos mo? Na-apply mo na ba yung mga yon? What are the knowledge that you have gained, no? How experience also is how many clients, no, nagkaroon ka na. Yan. All right. Next is happiness, no? Also, this is the factor that you should consider when you charge your client. Miss Lish, what do you mean by happiness? Happiness is also, sometimes you get that client na kahit na mababa yung sweldo, as long as you're very happy, you're learning a lot of things, you're so happy with working with everybody else, that is also a factor to consider the client. I mean, I had several clients in the past wherein they charge they gave me a monthly pay that's really low, but I'm happy working with them, right? So that's also a factor that you should consider. One more thing is self-worth. Yeah, you should also consider that. What do I mean by self-worth? Self-worth is how do you think of yourself? Ano ba? How do you check on the things that really matters to you? For example, how do I view myself as a VA? I consider myself as, for example, I consider myself as an expert in the Amazon field. Therefore, that's how I view myself, right? If that's how I view myself, definitely my charge to my client will be a little bit higher. But if you see yourself as a beginner, you cannot do it. This is just I'm just good for this one. I know nothing, diba? Then that will also be another factor that will reflect on your rates. All right? So, okay, let's go for the how to calculate the number of days of work available. All right, so the calendar days, we have 365 days. Okay, you can again pause this video later on and you can check this out and how you can compute it. Okay, consider the weekend, guys. Consider the bank holidays, the vacation, the sick leave if you may have. So the total working days normally is 221 per year, okay? So if you will consider an 8-hour job or an 8-hour working day, that will be 1.7 hours per year. Okay? So let's say you only spend 80%. No, hindi ka talaga 8 hours mag-work. You will not work for the total of 8 hours, just probably 6 hours a day. How many hours will that be? Okay. So that would be computed to 6.4 hours a day. So 221 days times 6.4 hours per day is equals to 1.4 hours. Okay. And also you can check this out on the freelancermap.com. All right. So how do you calculate your MAR? Ito naman, guys, is the how you are going to compute that actual. So for example, you already know your expenses. Assuming that your expenses is $7,000 a month. You times that by 12 months and you get $84,000 a month. The profit salary would be 25%. Syempre, you need to put margin, no, of your salary there. So for example, it's $25, 25%. Therefore, it's going to be $21. Yeah, bear with me on this. I know you will get this and you can pause this video anytime. Okay? Cost of doing business. Oh, eto na. You will add the expenses and the profit that you want to have. Of course, it's like your business, diba? Sabi nga natin, being a VA is not just being a freelancer, it's also your business. So, you consider your monthly expenses plus the profit that you want. So, expenses plus profit is equals to the cost of doing business. Ibig sabihin yun yung gusto mo at the end of the year, that's gonna be the money that you want to have. So, that's what you call MAR. And MAR divided by 1.4 hours, remember the hour before, is equals to the number or your rate per hour. So in this example, it's $74 per hour, okay? All right. So I hope that you just don't only watch this video, try this for yourself and see, magkano nga ba talaga dapat ang rate ko? Diba? As a VA, hindi naman na, ganito pala dapat yung expense ko. Should I lower my expenses? Should I have more clients? Should I add more skills? What are the things that I need to consider? Okay. Flex ko lang. Flex ko lang din. This is Glyza actually. I saw, while I was researching earlier for a rate, I saw her. Glyza is part of the Amazon Seller VA Masterclass. She's also a part of Filipino Amazon Masterclass. She joined our course, I think 2 years ago. So yeah, I think also Glyza didn't only invest in our course, but a lot of course out there. She knows what skill to do, no? And right now, she is an Amazon PPC strategist, and she charged $50 per hour. Yeah, and you can see this in Upwork. Okay? So, negotiate. Okay, Miss Lish, eto na, no? You are now, you know now how to compute your rate, you know what are the factors you need to consider. How are you going to negotiate? Okay. Number one, communicate your intention to your client. Oh, by the way, guys, I am telling you this based on my experience. I have more than 15 employees, actually 17 employees right now to be exact. And this is how they negotiate. Okay? Number one, they communicate. Okay? Number one, you should communicate your intention. Okay? And of course, be realistic. How do you communicate your intention? Before you ask for a rate, an increase perhaps, okay? Tell already the client that this is your ideal rate. And you just don't, you don't just cry somewhere and tell your client, tell yourself, now my client is so insensitive. My client is so insensitive. I cannot he or she is not yet increasing my rate. No, don't be like that. Be someone who over communicate. If you want something, tell it to your client, right? So, and number two, after the communication, you give a measurable output. Don't just say increase my rate. Say that you want to increase your rate. Of course, be realistic of the increase. Probably is 20%, 10%, or either 30%, like that. And then give a measurable output. What do I mean by measurable output? Measurable is something that you can tell to your client, this is what I will do for the next 6 months. This is so when I say 6 months or 3 months, may time. It's time bound. Also, it will be equivalent to a profit, perhaps. A profit, or kung halimbawa social media manager ka, it will be equivalent to the number of likes, the number of followers, you know. So if you are a product lister or a PPC specialist, it can be an ACOS, it can be TACOS, you know. So those are the measurable output. Give an output. Yeah? I know you understand, right? So give a measurable output. Number three, give value first for the first few months. Value, value, value. Value, value, value. And it's months, not just trial, no? Para your client can see the result of what you're doing. Okay? And number four, of course, set a meeting to your client. Client, I think, diba, I mentioned my intention that I want to increase my rate. I think you noticed that we achieved the results. Can you consider raising my rate? Okay. And of course, it's your right to ask an increase, but it's within the right of the client to always say no, right? And respect that. But then again, always remember that if he or she say no to the increase, it's never final, right? You can reconsider again, talk with your client again, right? Okay, good. Next, of course, always have a contract with your client. Ano ba yung mga pinag-usapan nyo? Always have a binding contract for that. Okay. Now, how am I going to get paid? Most of the freelancer always ask, paano po ako mababayaran? These are the different platforms, payment platforms that I use, when I got paid by my clients. So it can be PayPal, Payoneer, TransferWise, Western Union, or of course, bank transfer. Okay. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you learned a lot. If you want to have a free Amazon VA mini training, just go to this site. That's amazonnationph.com/free Amazon VA mini training. And of course, always remember that you don't get paid for the hour. You get paid for the value you bring to that hour. Sabi nga ni Jim Ron, right? Yes. And of course, I hope that you follow us on social media. That's at Amazonation PH. All right, we are in Facebook and also in Instagram. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments, go to our website. That's www.amazonationph.com. You can also email me. I personally answer your emails. That's lish@amazonationph.com. Hey, I know, I hope that you learned a lot in this, in the video for tonight. Yes. Yay. Okay. So thank you again very much for watching. So probably right now you're all thinking, ano ba kaya yung susunod na rate ko? What are the skills that I need to learn, that I need to practice? What are the courses out there that I really need to study in order for me to be relevant and ask the final my rate. So God bless to all of you. Good luck to your meeting with your clients. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you again and good night. Bye.